Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I am Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the latest episode of Batwoman. It was called Loose Tooth, and it starts off with some kids sneaking into a pool after hours, and by this I mean horny teenagers. They mention Aquaman for some reason. Aquaman just keeps getting mentioned all over the CW-verse, several times on The Flash in a couple of different episodes. Now he's been mentioned on Batwoman. They better give us an Aquaman soon, or it's going to be like, why are you teasing us? Of course, both kids are soon killed by something in the pool. Alice gets released to Batwoman's custody, and apparently not just Montoya knows who Batwoman is. A couple of cops apparently know because they go with her to bring Alice, so they know the whole story, which is never good. We hear a news report speculate that it was Killer Croc who killed the kids at the pool. Luke says that Bruce tried to cure the original Killer Croc of his condition, but never really found a cure, and the cops blew the sewers up with him still in it, so he's presumed dead, even though I guess some people think he's responsible for the new killing. But I guess he's been reduced to a tooth that they find, which may have spread the condition to someone else if someone found it. So this is what Team Batwoman is going on. Meanwhile, Ryan's mogul mother shows up at Wayne Enterprises demanding a meeting with the CEO, who happens to be Ryan, because Kate named her CEO in her absence in case they needed to have a CEO for whatever reason. So this meeting takes place, and Sophie, of course, lets Ryan know, by the way, this woman is your mother. During the meeting, Ryan's mother doesn't seem to know who Ryan is, but she says she knows that her systems were breached from the Wayne building, which happened in the previous episode when Sophie was looking into Ryan's mother. It turns out that Luke's suit thinks he was injured. That's why it kept shutting down. So Mary wants to check him out. She's a doctor, of course. Alice ends up explaining that Croc may have killed someone else as a first kill before he killed the kids, and that he's probably hunting within a few miles of the pool. In fact, we do see that Croc is on the hunt, and he attacks a girl in a park. Alice and Batwoman investigate the abduction of this girl and the abduction scene, and they find that he shed some skin there, but they don't find any human body parts, so they figure he's saving her for later, which is great. They then talk about each other's mothers, and Alice kind of taunts Batwoman about having been abandoned, which Batwoman blows off before telling Alice that she doesn't believe that she wants to help the girl, that she's just there because she has to be, which Alice refutes strongly. She says, I was abandoned too. I know what that's like, and I'm really trying to help you save this girl. Together, they find an entrance to what seems like a lair, and they actually find Killer Croc's dad down there looking for him. So apparently this is a new Killer Croc who did in fact find the tooth and get the infection, and so his father's down there looking for him. We find that Mary examines Luke, and she notices that he's very buff, and he in fact has palpitations as she's touching him, and they almost kiss, which I don't think I like, but okay. I mean, all of a sudden they're attracted to each other out of the blue, whatever. Meanwhile, Croc's dad explains how his kid found the tooth on a fishing trip and cut himself with it, which is how he started turning into, like a crocodile person himself. But then he zaps Batwoman with a sort of cattle prod and draws a gun on Alice. Croc, of course, does show up, and he makes off with his own father while Batwoman is down, and Alice grabs cattle prod and takes off her ankle bracelet with it. She zaps it and it falls off. So Luke ends up suiting up as Batwing to help Batwoman. As Alice is making her escape, she hears the girl crying out for help, and she goes back to see her, presumably to help her, but she then decides to just leave her there when she realizes that the girl's leg is broken and she can't walk, and she doesn't want to get held down or held back from escaping. Batwoman comes to, and she comes across Croc's father, who has apparently been killed by Croc. Luke catches up to Alice, and they fight, and he injects her with a bunch of nanobots that will track her by satellite if she tries to run again. As the girl is trying to crawl her way out of the sewers, Croc comes across her and almost attacks her, but Batwoman shows up and jumps on his back, and they fight. He gets Batwoman down, but she manages to throw a grenade at him, which explodes into a flying bat net and pins him against the wall, which was very cool. I thought that was a very cool bat gadget, and a very cool thing that they did there. Batwoman then returns the girl to her mother, and Croc is picked up as well. Alice is turned over to Montoya and goes back to Arkham, which I hope isn't permanent. I like this whole setup of where she was going to help them track down the artifact, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. I'm kind of bummed that they only let it happen for one episode. Then we see Sophie and Ryan talk about Ryan pursuing a relationship with her mother, but she fears she won't be wanted. Mary tells Luke that the suit may be interpreting mental anguish that he's experiencing over having been shot as physical pain or an injury. He insists he doesn't have any such anguish, but she's dubious. Montoya, meanwhile, opens a container with a plant in it that isn't one of Ivy's plants, indicating that Ivy is out there. So that's cool. We then see Ryan visit her mom and drop the bomb that she is, in fact, her daughter. So we're going to see where that goes next week for sure. And hopefully we're going to see Poison Ivy, if not next week, soon. Like I said, I'm glad they're going down this route of Villain of the Week. I think it's a very good way to proceed. And I thought this was a good episode. We could have seen a little bit more of Killer Croc. Would have been cool. But I thought this was a solid episode, and I'm looking forward to next week. Until then, my friends, I wish you all peace and long life.